Hello, everyone. Assalamualaikum, and welcome to the session titled The Role of AI in Personalizing Immersive Experiences at the Halal in Travel Global Summit 2024, hosted by CrescentRating. I will be moderating this session. My name is Adila. I'm a UI/UX designer at CrescentRating, and in my role, I focus on designing user experiences that cater to the specific needs and preferences of Muslim travelers. The travel industry is on the cusp of a major transformation, driven by the ever evolving power of artificial intelligence, or AI. Today's discussion will explore the exciting possibilities that AI presents for personalizing travel experiences, making them more immersive and enriching for every traveler. Joining us today is a fantastic lineup of experts. They will share their insights on the latest AI advancements, from smart recommendations and virtual travel assistants to AI powered itinerary planning and beyond. We'll also delve into the ethical considerations surrounding AI in travel and explore how this technology can be harnessed responsibly. All right, fantastic. So, to get us started, I'd like to properly introduce our esteemed panel today. They each bring a unique perspective to the conversation on AI and travel personalization. First up, we have Raudha Zaini. Raudha is the Strategic Partnerships and Projects Lead at CrescentRating. She spearheads global destination marketing projects and drives key partner relationships with the aim of translating her passion for travel into innovative products that offer unique experiences to Muslim travelers. Welcome, Raudha. Next, we have Fateh Ali, the founder and CEO of SmartDeen. Fateh, welcome. Fateh has a background in tech, leadership, and product development in deep tech space and boasts a proven track record of building game-changing AI products. Currently, he is the founder of KitKat.io and SmartDeen.co, an AI-based Android hardware portal for every Muslim household, just like Google Home or Alexa for Muslims. And he also previously built CollabDeen, a B2B software as a service platform for Muslim community collaboration. And he's also working on a book called How to Build a Billion User Apps and Platform in Halal Ecosystem. Welcome, Fateh. It's really great to have you here today. And last but not least, we have Hafez Marican, the Area Director Indonesia for the Singapore Tourism Board. Welcome, Hafez. Hafez is a seasoned regional tourism industry professional with over 13 years of experience in the Singapore Tourism Board, developing, marketing, and promoting Singapore as a vibrant tourism destination. He led the STB office in Dubai from 2011 to 2014 in the marketing and promotion of Singapore in the Middle East and Africa region before transitioning into the role of Deputy Director of Exhibitions and Conferences, where he orchestrated the curation of world-class B2B events, including Gamescom Asia, Industrial Transformation Asia Pacific, and Asia Tech at Singapore. Since October 2023, Hafez has been stationed in Jakarta, entrusted with leading the marketing and promotion efforts in one of Singapore's key visitors' arrivals market, Indonesia. Hafez graduated with a bachelor degree of computing in the National University of Singapore and an MBA from the same university with a specialization in digital business. His technical background and strategic acumen will allow him to bring a sophisticated understanding of the role of technology in promoting a destination and enhancing travel experience. Hafez is also a staunch advocate for data-driven decision-making, believing firmly in leveraging data to inform strategies and drive impactful outcomes. All right, now that we've gotten to know our amazing panel, let's dive into the exciting world of AI and travel personalization. So to guide our discussion today, I've prepared a series of questions that explore various aspects of AI and travel personalization. And to kick things off, let's dive into the current landscape. How is AI currently being used to enhance personalization in the travel industry? And for this first question, I'd like to direct it to Raudha. So Raudha, as someone leading partnerships and projects at CrescentRating and HalalTrip, you would have a good perspective on how established travel platforms are currently using AI for personalization. So how is AI currently being used to enhance personalization in the travel industry?
Thanks, Adila. Yeah, so maybe I can start with our experience at HalalTrip using AI applications. So our journey with AI tools has really kind of permeated every facet of our operations, not just external but also internally, whether streamlining tasks in project management or enhancing code efficiency, whether it's refining design aesthetics or amplifying our marketing strategies. We're really harnessing the power of AI to lead in our respective domains. And at CrescentRating as well, we released a reader framework, which touches four different points: responsible, immersive, digital, and assurance. So the purpose of the reader framework is to guide businesses in creating and implementing innovative and sustainable strategies in all that we do. So even within AI itself, we try to stick to that framework in ensuring that not just our internal processes are aligned with the framework, but also by leveraging AI and tech, we're able to deliver personalized user experiences. Not just that, but also more predictive content delivery and real-time analytics on our website more efficiently. So with being able to do this, by as you know, Adila, like the UI UX websites that we do, is managed to help us in our design processes more efficiently. Another example is our HalalTrip app, our revamped HalalTrip app. So taking cues from our website successes, we've tried to instill the essence of immersive experiences, responsible tourism, assured confidence into the app's core, really. We recognize the shifts in user behavior. So people are changing in terms of how they use technology and how they use app. They're adapting. They're also embracing technology. And we really leverage the capabilities of AI to restructure the app and its features to make it more intuitive and more responsive. So at least, we at HalalTrip, we acknowledge that the future is here, the future is with AI, and we're really trying to integrate it into every step of our process.
All right, thank you very much, Raudha, for that very insightful response. Um, Now that we have a context of how AI is currently being used in the travel industry, AI is making the business process more efficient, and also it helps to improve the user experience. You also mentioned about changing user behavior, the changing of user behaviors in this space, which leads perfectly into our next question, which is about AI for immersive experiences. And for this question, I'd like Fateh to answer. So, Fateh, we've heard about the current cutting edge AI applications, like we've heard of ChatGPT, Gemini, Midjourney, but what excites you the most? And what are some of the most innovative AI applications you've seen that contribute to creating truly immersive travel experiences?
Right. I think that's a beautiful question, right? To start on with, I myself have been really going deep dive last couple of years of ChatGPT coming up in different versions. Uh, Gemini, big fan of Gemini these days because of the personalization. Because we are in the world of personalization. At this stage, from a travel agent's perspective, AI isn't just a travel agent, right? It's your intelligent travel companion or of whispering hidden itineraries, suggesting cultural gems, ensuring every day the approach that within your travel itinerary is really curated, more adventurous, more personalized. So AI is revolutionizing this whole personalization by transforming these experiences earlier called as like one size fits all approach to a more hyper curated adventure, right? So I think to answer your question, a couple of things, right? I think we are into this mobile first AI powered immersion experience. uh, there's no more a single window of Google where you kind of ask information and get flooded of information. Rather, it's more personalized through mobile experiences, through voice enabled devices. Right? Imagine a mobile app that acts as your intelligent travel companion throughout your trip. This app could be built with cloud based architect, leveraging microservices, APIs, would be seamlessly integrating with a lot of different AI powered features. For example, AI chatbot as dynamic local guide, for example, emotionally aware recommendations. These apps utilizes IoT devices in hotels or theme parks, capture more anonymized emotional data sets through facial recognition. uh, Personalized storytelling with AI narration is next big thing that's happening, because early days we have seen marketers, you was creating content, vloggers, we all have seen vloggers have really evolved through these content that was curated for these audiences. But now I think things have been really different, from a different approach. It's no more a bottom up approach or a top down approach. It's more of a mixed approach for different uh, audiences. So as you explore a location, your app utilizing cloud based AI to generate more personalized narratives, right? It's really woven in the user journey when a user moves on. So I think there are multiple different tools. uh, I haven't seen a big giant who is standing tall today saying they're like leaders in the space. Uh, Post COVID, things have kind of neutralized. It's a new term for everyone to restart this technology journey with AI, with more advanced technologies. I think there's a lot more things coming up. So the boundaries between the physical and the digital world are really blurring up. So once these starts happening, maybe in next 2 3 years, you'll start seeing more AI powered travel companions that will not only translate, say, language and suggest a restaurant, but also anticipate your needs, your curated experience that resonates on a very deep level from a user journey point of view. Uh, I'm really getting ready for that next revolution that's going to happen.
All right, thank you so much, Fateh. So, like you said, the boundaries between physical and digital world is blurring up, and that in the future, AI-powered travel companions will become more prevalent, which means that this AI will also need to understand the needs. In order to deliver curated experience, they also need to know a lot of data from the user. So this brings us to our next question, which also ties in with the idea of personalization, which is about data privacy and security. We know that personalization relies heavily on data, which also raises important questions. So let's have a panel discussion on the importance of data privacy and security in the context of AI-driven personalization. And I'd like to start this by also asking this question to Fateh as well, and followed by other speakers. So Fateh, given your role as a CEO of SmartDeen, I think you'd be able to provide insights into data security within AI solutions. So what sorts of data privacy and security considerations do you take into account when developing AI solutions for SmartDeen?
Yeah, I think personalization is one thing. Keeping those information intact in a more trusted environment is next important thing for any brand to bring up that trust. Right, travelers are really increasingly concerned how their data is collected, used, and stored. So AI personalization hinges on these data. So transparency is the key. Companies should clearly explain what data is being collected, how it's used for personalization. Example, early days browsing histories used to be captured, but nobody knew. But if you see these days, every website is kind of showing up that pop up asking for accepting your trusted recommendations or trusted transparencies to be reviewed. And then providing strong privacy policies will be really a key that are easy to understand from a customer centric point of view. Clear opt-in, opt-out mechanism for, say, data collection and personalization is important. Now, from a security, data breaches can disrupt these trips, erode trust. Bringing that robust security measures are really essential. Technologies like cloud-based securities we need to leverage the scalability and security feature of cloud platforms to protect user data. Encryption is a big important thing that needs to be thought about. Regulate security audits, proactively identify and address vulnerabilities in AI systems and data storage. I think these are some of the top level things that, even though people are aware, that we really are not really implementing at the core level, especially with AI that's really capturing every data point. It's important to mitigate biases and algorithmic fairnesses that needs to be brought in. So AI algorithms can perpetuate biases if not carefully monitored. Right, companies must really ensure the diverse data set is kind of trained under this AI models on diverse data sets to avoid biasness. We have seen AI biasness can really it could be a harmful weapon for the society. I think this biases has to be removed. Discriminatory practices has to be but taken care of. I think these are some of the high level things I would kind of bring this into the discipline.
All right, thank you so much. So, like you said, companies should clearly explain what data is clearly collected by the company, just to be transparent in order to improve the trust of users. And here, strong privacy policy is key, as with opt-in and opt-out mechanism for data collection. But as you say, also that data breaches can disrupt this. Um, and so it's really important to leverage scalability of cloud-based security, if I'm not mistaken. And companies should also be proactive to identify and address vulnerabilities. And you also added that AI algorithms have to be carefully monitored to mitigate biases. All right. Since the topic of data privacy and security is multifaceted, I think we will also benefit from hearing diverse thoughts. So I also like to hear from Hafez. So, Hafez, can you share insights on regulations and maybe best practices related to data privacy and security within the travel industry, especially in the region?
Okay. So the use of AI tools really much depends on trust. If the consumer doesn't trust that the data is being protected or being used in an ethical manner, they won't use it. And therefore, it defeats the purpose of the tool. So for the Singapore Tourism Board, we like data. The more data we have, the better we understand the consumers and all that. But we are quite conscious to avoid misusing data. So whenever we collect data for any of our projects or any of our campaigns, we ensure that we collect it in an ethical manner. We ensure that we get the necessary permissions from the consumers. They can either opt out, we ensure that we comply with the prevailing data protection and privacy laws, whether be it Singapore's PDPA or the EU GDPR. We ensure that we comply with all these kind of regulations. I think most importantly, we want the consumer, the traveler, to feel safe in using these tools, in using our technology, the technology platforms, because once you lose the trust, that's it. Yeah, they won't use your tools. Yeah.
Yeah, that is very interesting. So, to quote Hafiz, users heavily rely on trust. So, if they don't trust, then they won't use any of the tools in our technology platforms. So, it's really important to keep this trust from users. And Singapore Tourism Board itself is quite conscious to avoid misusing data, and to collect data in an ethical manner and provide opt-out and opt-in options. So, this brings me to Raudha. So, Raudha, perhaps you can share your perspectives or also share how CrescentRating and HalalTrip approaches user privacy, especially in the context of AI-driven personalization.
Yeah, I think just echoing what Fateh said and what Hafiz just shared as well, I think these are very these are points that resonate with us as an online digital platform, purely because we transact online, we collect a lot of user data online. We are a content platform after all. So we are very cautious about how we store the data. We are also very cautious about any disclaimers, PDPA and GDPR disclaimers. And we're also very transparent with how the data is being used. So we are very aware as a platform and as a brand that there are risks when you store user data and user not just data, basic personal information, but also as you evolve into AI, you get more complex data about their personalization, for instance, for their preferences, and this data just keeps getting bigger and gets a lot more personal as well. So we have put in place, different measures to ensure, we have many layers of security on our website. We are very aware as well that, just because we are relatively, we're not one of the very large players in the travel industry, but there have been large organizations that have suffered, data leaks. So we are very aware, what are some of the steps that we need to do to ensure that we do not get to that stage. Um, so we have different measures in place. We're also very aware that data needs to be stored ethically. It needs to be stored in, like what Fatih says. We leverage on cloud storage. Ultimately, it's all about prioritizing compliance and data protection regulations to really safeguard the customers' sensitive information.
All right, thank you so much, Raudha. So, building on what you mentioned earlier about personalization as well. So, we know that travelers come from diverse backgrounds with unique cultural and individual preferences, and AI has the potential to understand and cater to these specific needs. So, Raudha, how can AI help personalize experiences for Muslim travelers and help them go beyond the typical tourist experience?
Yeah, so I think so AI is serves a large market, right? So it's really about how I think firstly users interact with AI, but it's also about how brands and businesses interact with AI to be able to better cater to this market and also adapt to their needs and adapt to the changing market. AI tools like ChatGPT, emerging as game changers across the different industries. They're also not the only players around, right? There are many players like ChatGPT. But their impact on not just the travel sector, but because we're talking about travel sector, is really undeniable. You've got different brands like TripAdvisor, Airbnb, all you know finding ways to integrate AI into their different platforms, into different touch points. But I think we need to also keep in mind that in this evolving landscape, these tools must be calibrated to appreciate and also respect Muslim travelers' unique needs and values. So being able to responsibly harness these AI innovations would promise a transformative, I think, potential for the Muslim market. But with personalized experiences would come tailored recommendations and also different nuanced marketing strategies. We need to ensure that this activities by the different brands resonates with and caters to the distinct demands of the growing Muslim market demographic. So Muslim travelers look for different they look for different information. They do look for the generic travel information, but there are specifically base needs that they look for. So, like for example, at HalalTrip, we are building. We have a chatbot, but we're looking into building an AI-enabled chatbot so that it's able to power use AI to build itineraries for the travelers, and of course itineraries that are Muslim friendly and adheres to their needs. So it's able to kind of answer and cater to their different user journey as a Muslim traveler when they go on a trip to halal food, to finding mosques when they go. So these are the different touch points that we try to cater.
All right. Thank you so much, Rauda. In CrescentRating and HalalTrip, you're looking to build AI chatbot, as I understand, and also to build itineraries for travelers that cater to the different user journeys throughout their halal travel experience in order to cater to their individual preferences. So we've heard how AI can cater to individual preferences. Now let's turn our attention to some of the challenges travel providers face when implementing AI technologies. So I'd like to ask Hafez. So Hafez, as the area director for the Singapore Tourism Board, what are some hurdles that you see in this area and how can these be overcome?
Okay, I can share some personal experience. Okay, because for the Singapore Tourism Board in Jakarta, we're working right now currently with an Indonesian company to develop a Bahasa-based AI itinerary planner for Singapore. It's called Holiday, HOLIDAI, Holiday for short. So one of the challenges that we face in building it, okay, the genesis for us embarking on this venture is simply because, firstly, Indonesians, as you know, Indonesia is a majority Muslim country, 80%, and they've mentioned that it's difficult, strangely, to find halal food in Singapore. And there are more than 6,000 halal F&B establishments in Singapore alone, right? So we found that very surprising. And the other part as well, we understand that Indonesians mostly are comfortable in using Bahasa. So a lot of the chatbots that are available right now, well, they can produce decent bahasa kind of itineraries, but they are not really uh, specific to that language. So what we've done is we've worked with the company. They are using a Sea Lion large language model developed by AI.sg to using that as an engine, and then coming up with the AI chatbot. One of the biggest challenge that we've found when we tried doing that is, first of all, finding relevant or what do you call that, current data. Okay, data such as attractions, experiences in Singapore, that's okay. I mean, it can be easily found. We can leverage Singapore tourism boards, tourism industry hubs, libraries, which we already have existing, that are available for any developer wanting to build chatbots. They can draw their data from that. But the challenge we found is trying to get relevant, updated, what do you call it, data on halal outlets, F&B outlets especially, because as you know, this is quite a dynamic industry. Restaurants, cafes, they open and then they close after a couple of months, so it has to be constantly updated. So this is the challenge that we're trying to overcome, trying to ensure that the chatbot, when it plans out the itinerary for the halal, for travelers, Indonesian travelers who are looking at a kind of a halal friendly holiday, that the chatbot produces or generates recommendations based on most current and most updated data.
Okay, thank you so much, Hafez. So it's really interesting to hear from Hafez's perspective and the Singapore Tourism Board. As with the Singapore Tourism Board, their challenge is about finding relevant current data, and in Hafez's case, it's about finding data on the F&B halal outlets in Singapore. And that's very interesting because this comes from the Singapore Tourism Board working with Indonesian company to develop Bahasa-based AI itinerary planner for Singapore. And also, but also on a similar note, I'd also like to know the perspective of travel businesses. And for that, we can probably move on to the next question, which I will direct to Fateh. So, Fateh, many travel businesses are small or medium-sized, right? And how can they leverage AI to compete with larger players in providing personalized experiences? Especially earlier, Hafez mentioned how challenging it is to find relevant and current relevant data. So, how do small and medium sizes travel businesses leverage AI to compete with the larger players in providing personalized experiences?
Spot on. This is a very interesting question and my perspective, because I'm going to say something which a lot of businesses will hate, right? To run and work with large data set, you have to be on cloud. You have to have the latest and greatest technologies to run AI. Even today, as a lot of small, medium travel or hospitality companies are running their tech with maybe like 5 years, 10 years old tech stacks, on-premise, non-integratable solutions. I think these are some of the fundamental things that needs to have a mind shift. And then as we evolve, we have seen a little bit evolution during or post COVID, but companies have not really evolved to a stage where uh, they can really be capable of providing high tech AI based solution. I think the fundamental thing is break even those previous tech stacks and then start working on something very futuristic, just like how you mentioned Singapore Tourism Board or HalalTrip is really coming up with more revolutionary product. I think that's more important. Now, how can small and medium sized travel businesses leverage AI to compete large players? When you asked, I think what's going on in my mind is the small medium businesses might lack resources of industry giants, right? But AI offers them a powerful weapon to really bring that personalization that feels genuine and unique. And how they could do is focus on those niche market, right? While travel companies, since we are talking about travel, I'm kind of bringing this travel. While major travel companies cater to more of the broad audiences, the small medium businesses can leverage AI to hyper personalized experience of niche market they understand really deeply. Imagine, say, a small adventure related travel agency using AI to curate itineraries for, say, rock climbers, or suggesting, hidden climbing destinations, and then connecting them with local guides based on specific climbing style. It really requires that personalized experiences for these user base. Data advantages has to be taken. AI powered chatbots with a more of personal touch that can provide 24 bars 7 support, personalized recommendation. SMBs can take this a little step further from there, train that AI on companies unique selling points, and bring that local expertise, local experiences. Imagine this chatbot not just suggesting restaurant, but recommending hidden gems discovered by travel agents, themselves, owner themselves, adding a touch to this personal charm. I think with these things, maybe I just add one example of what I've been involved with, right? Recently, award winning platform that we won, HajiAnsari.ai. We are building up this personalized AI experience for Hajj and Umrah, companions, Hajj and Umrah travelers, right? With culturally aware guidelines to them, recognizing uh, content based on their school of thought, tailored instructions according to how to perform this Umrah or Hajj. It supports multilingual support, seamlessly communications from one person, say, coming from India or Indonesia, having that local experiences, learning those uh, things written on the boards using AI experiences. I think these are some of the things that needs to be really built up. And again, falling back to the same point, fundamentally technology has to be more latest and greatest on these ideas.
Right. Thank you so much for your perspective, Fateh. So I'd like to mention again about the award-winning platform that you just mentioned. So it's very interesting to hear about the personalized AI experience from your experience for Hajj and Umrah travelers, and how you try to create content based on their schools of thought, and also provide multilingual supports, because as we know, travelers for Hajj and Umrah, they come from different places around the world, and they also have different experiences. And also this the next question also builds on what we heard earlier about catering to individual preferences, and about how travelers also have different experiences, like Fateh just said. So now I think we can explore the question of accessibility and inclusivity. And similar to the question on individual preferences, I think we can also benefit from different perspectives here. But I'd like to start with Raudha. We know that travel should be accessible and inclusive for everyone. But I'd like to hear from you, Raudha. How does AI play a role in enhancing accessibility and inclusivity in the travel sector?
Yeah, I think so I mean when we work with on research on the Muslim travel market, we do many reports at CrescentRating examining the different destinations. We also do segment reports examining the demographics. I think what we can kind of summarize from all that data and research we've done is that travelers are not homogeneous. Even more so when you're talking about the Muslim travel market, not all Muslim travelers travel the same way. Especially when you're looking within demographics itself, you're looking at Muslim women travelers are traveling different from Gen Z travelers. Muslim women travelers are traveling different to family travelers. So there are different nuances within the different demographics within the Muslim travel market segment itself, that it may be difficult for brands and businesses to keep up with because there are just so many segments that they need to cater. But I think this is where AI can come in and really help in the process, because truly it's about being able to embrace AI powered platforms into your processes. It's able to analyze vast amounts of data to identify trends. So really, it's not to be afraid of data. It's not to be afraid of AI. And it really does help provide insights to help travelers plan their trips. So what they can do is, for example, like, going back to what we're trying to build with our AI-enabled chatbot, we're really trying to cater to all these different customer segments. by helping them plan their trip more efficiently and more effectively. Uh, by recognizing patterns, the chatbot aims to suggest culturally relevant experiences, accommodations that fit their group size, their group profile, activities that resonate with the different travelers within the group, which would overall enhance the entire journey. So for me, I feel like instead of being afraid of AI and the potential of AI, it's to try and integrate it in the smallest way possible first, and slowly try to build that, because it can really provide insights and recommendations specifically tailored to the different cultures, the different diverse requirements, diverse needs, especially when we talk about Muslim travelers, to help them plan their trips more efficiently. Can highlight halal friendly food options, prayer timings within the destination, maybe the different cities within destinations that you're traveling to, as well as other relevant information that they ask for.
All right. Thank you, Raudha. Just to acknowledge that Raudha mentioned that not all Muslim travelers travel the same way. Raudha also mentioned that different demographics travel differently, and this is where AI can help in terms of improving the accessibility and inclusivity within the travel space. Because AI can identify trends and can cater to different customer segments, and therefore can also help in providing culturally relevant experiences. So from there, I'd probably also like to ask Fateh, just to gather different perspectives on this. So Fateh, can you elaborate on how AI can understand travelers' individual preferences beyond demographics?
Right. I think the most important thing that needs to be understood is, how hyper personalization things are happening, irrespective of demographics. It's important to see, okay, let me put this way, right? Imagine a seamless integration of AI assistants across different devices like wearables, smartphones, or smart environment within the travel destinations are incorporated. Now, data could be extracted not just based on, let's say, geographies or the different personas, but also how they would behave with different devices, different touch points. Because earlier things were very, users are really personally aware uh, and want to have a more emotional experiences when they kind of go out and gather travel experiences. But from a company's perspective, it's important how you capture these true sentiments, how you capture these true different touch points, because all this while there was just this form where you put in two three key information, where you put in your look, where you want to travel, which states you want to go, how many people, a couple of primary things. But now it's, you have a lot of touch points of a user, of a consumer. So I think it's important how you kind of capture these different fundamental data points, put them holistically as anonymous data for your a technology to kind of retrain and give more personalized experiences around this.
All right, thank you for elaborating on that, Fateh. So you mentioned how, from a company's perspective, it's really important to capture the different touch points in different devices and also different stages of the user's journey, and then put them holistically as anonymous data, which is really interesting because it also brings me to the next question of users' travel experience, especially if we're talking about immersive experience here. I'd like to get Hafiz's opinion. So, how can AI be leveraged to cater to cultural sensitivities within a destination?
Okay. Yeah, that's a very interesting question. Yeah, as I've mentioned just now, one of the key things that we wanted to do is basically make Singapore a more inclusive and accessible destination. So part of an important part of catering to their cultural needs is not just about providing suitable dietary options, but also having the information accessible to them in a language which they are most comfortable with. So that's one of the reasons why we decided to embark on a Bahasa-based AI chatbot rather than an English version. That's one. The other part as well is there are, as you know, Indonesia itself. I'm giving the example of Indonesia. Indonesia is a Muslim majority country, but it's not a homogeneous bloc, right? It's not like Muslims in Jakarta. They exhibit certain cultural differences as compared to Muslims from Sumatra and all that. There are certain habits, certain preferences. So we try to, I mean, our AI, we don't have AI tools right now that can cater to this different that can cater to this level of personalization. We don't, and frankly, we don't have enough data as well to train the AI chatbot to be able to give recommendations that will cater to this level of differentiation or this level of personalization. But maybe in the years ahead, we can further refine the data, further refine the versions of chatbots that will be rolling out to cater to this kind of differences, the cultural differences.
All right, thank you for your insight. So, from what I gather, relevant to your AI chatbot project in Indonesia. So it's really important in order for users or for people to understand different cultural sensitivities within a destination. One way is to have the information as accessible to them in the language that they are most comfortable with, and this is also why you chose to embark on the Bahasa-based chatbot platform instead of the English one, because we also understand that certain habits and certain preferences exist, that even though we don't have AI tools right now that can cater to this level of personalization, but we can further refine the data to cater to the individual, to the different cultural sensitivities. And that is really interesting as well, that even though we don't have the AI tools right now, we can see that there are ways that AI can be leveraged still to cater to cultural sensitivities. All right. Thank you so much for Hafez for elaborating on that. And now I'd like to explore another exciting aspect, right? So earlier you mentioned that we don't have the AI tools right now, but looking ahead, it's really interesting to envision the evolution of AI. So I'd like to open the floor for all speakers here. So looking ahead, how do you envision the evolution of AI in the travel industry over the next decade? And what exciting possibilities lie on the horizon? I would like each of you to share your vision and perspectives about the future of AI in the travel industry. So I'd like to open the floor. Does anyone like to answer first?
I think I can start on with. I think for me, I see this. Uh, Firstly, I'm a big fan, a big advocate of ethical AI. Right, AI is definitely not a single. It's like a double-edged sword. Right, it has to be wisely used. I think as a traveler, I want AI to be my travel genie, not some sneaky data collection point where I give all my information and data. Transparency control is something very big that needs to be seen. So I think in terms of evolution, a healthy dose of human experiences has to be evolved with AI. That the recipe for that ethical AI in travel. So I think it's important how these companies that's coming up with new AI tools has to explain how AI tailors your trips, what data is used, how, but definitely no surprises in being kept there. We need to choose how much of personalization of your experience, what needs to be opt in, opt out, what biases are we kind of training on, if that also a level of transparency and fairness being shown to the consumer. I think that transparency and trust is one major factor for the proper evolution of AI in this industry. Otherwise, people are scared these days utilizing and use that having any touch point of AI as soon as AI is being talked about, as consumers, people get scared. Like as somebody who's building technologies, we can clearly understand how good it is for the industries. But as a consumer, a lot of negativity that needs to be, kind of stopped with a lot of trust that can be brought in. So I think that's something that needs to be brought in. AI really isn't about just building those robots, right? That's a cute little interface that we have seen when we are growing up, but it's really not just about those robots. It's about finally being able to embrace all this data, different collection of inputs that we have been uh, not capturing from our consumers, that really needs to be fueled with real time magic, as what I would say. This isn't just going to be a vacation for traveler. It's more of an adventurous composed just for travelers, that creates and captures, build some memories for them. So I think let's build a travel industry that's not only personalizes and bring that immersiveness, but being mindful of our planet and respectfully for our local cultures, and having that etiquette with fairness. I think that's something that needs to be thought upon, and I think that is how the whole industry would get evolved. Thanks.
Right. Thank you so much, Hafiz. It's interesting how you mentioned that, just quoting you here, so AI is a double-edged sword, and as consumers, we want AI to be our travel genie and not a sneaky
Yeah.
data thief. And yeah, as consumers, people get scared, and there are a lot of negativity and trust issues, which also echoes what Hafiz mentioned earlier about how trust is the bedrock of AI usage. That people, they won't use AI and in our platforms if they don't even trust it to begin with. So maybe I'd like to ask Hafiz now. So looking ahead, how do you envision the evolution of AI in the travel industry over the next decade, and what exciting possibilities lie on the horizon?
Okay. So I believe that AI would lead to hyper personalization, right? And this brings a lot of benefits, not just to the travelers, but to the businesses in the destinations themselves, right? I've been using quite a number of AI chatbots to provide recommendations of itineraries in Singapore, and I'm surprisingly amazed at the type of itineraries they recommend. They recommend, like what Fatih had mentioned, hidden gems, right? Won't, uh, which not which you don't normally find in a travel itinerary in Singapore, which are recommended by your typical travel agents or your blogs or your social media KOLs. So I was surprised to find a little known restaurant, or little, actually, it's not a restaurant, it's a hawker center, a little known food outlet in Singapore being recommended. And it's quite out of the way, but it serves very nice food, but it's not typically visited by tourists, right? So I believe that AI would lead to a sort of a democratization of information, right? It means what it means is that previously, if you have a lot of budget, you can afford to advertise yourself and you will get the business. But now, I think with AI, even if you're a small out of the way business or whatever, you still get your awareness. You still have your mind share to the consumers, right? And it's because mainly because of hyper personalization. The AI would recommend the most suited itinerary based on your personal preference, and not because of the preference of a key opinion leader or an influencer. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Hafiz. That is very interesting. Just you mentioned about your personal experience with AI chatbots that provide hidden gems that are not commonly featured everywhere else. And it's also interesting how you mentioned that AI needs a democratization of information. That previously, if you have, you can get the ball rolling if you have a lot of budget as a business. But now, even if you have a smaller business, you can still have your way to reach your customers. And thanks to hyper personalization, which means that the AI will not recommend only what the key opinion leaders say about what are the good places to go, but it will also showcase places that are not as popular and not as often visited. And it's really interesting to know this. So I also would like to get Raudha's opinion about that, and about your vision of the future of AI in the travel industry.
Yeah, I think it's undeniable that AI will become more sophisticated. It will also find its way integrating even more seamlessly into every stage of our travel journey. We already see that happening now. So we're talking about the next decade. It's gonna be even more evolved. I think what Fateh mentioned also, there's some fear in the consumer's POV, but I think there's also some fear from travel agents fearing of being obsolete, fear of those working in the different human touch points of a traveler's journey, that they may be rendered um, you know uh, not of any use to a traveler. But I think that mindset needs to be probably slowly adjusted, because we have seen, I think, the power that AI can do if we treat it we treat it carefully, and we treat it ethically, and we also deal with the different risks, and make sure that we are very transparent with consumers. I think there is a balance that we can find between the human experience and human touch, in ensuring job security for those in the travel industry, while also enhancing the traveler experience for consumers who are engaging in AI with brands and destinations.
Right. Thank you so much, Rhoda, for providing your perspective. Um, Another important aspect to consider, aside from that as well, like to balance between the human experience and the human touch as well. And um, when it comes to engaging with AI, there's also a question of ethical consideration, right? We've heard about the exciting potential of AI to personalize travel experiences, but um, ethical considerations are also paramount. So, for this question, I'd like to hear from Hafez's perspective, and others can also weigh in on the topic. Um, so, I'd like to hear from Hafez. What steps should the travel industry take to ensure that AI is used responsibly and addresses potential biases, data privacy concerns, and cultural sensitivities? And perhaps you can share a specific example of any of how companies or organizations in this space is approaching this challenge.
Okay, I've mentioned earlier that AI sort of gives small businesses a chance to reach out to an audience which they otherwise would find it difficult to reach out to, because they won't have that marketing budget in order for them to raise awareness of their business. Um, well, that's not necessarily always the case, because if the AI tool, for example, is not built in an ethical manner, the data which it is trained on is not comprehensive, then the AI potentially will produce biased results, right? And what we're hoping for, where visitors will be able to explore the hidden gems of Singapore, that might not come to pass, right? So this is a real issue, a real danger that we're worried that might happen. So it is very important for businesses, when they build such tools, that they try to avoid these biasness, that the data that the AI bot is trained on is comprehensive, is fair. It does not just encompass the large businesses, but it has to be comprehensive. It has to cover everything. It has to meet the preferences of the end user, and not the company that is building it, right? So that is an issue, that is an ethical issue. I think that all businesses should be aware of, and that that the data that the bot is trained on should be very comprehensive, in order to avoid biasness.
All right, thank you so much, Hafiz. Just like to mention you, so AI tools that are not built on an ethical manner and not comprehensive in terms of collecting the data, then the AI will produce biased results. So it's really important for companies building such tools that they try to avoid these biases when feeding the AI with data. The data has to be comprehensive and also fair to accommodate different preferences of the end user and not the company that is building it. Thank you so much for that, Hafiz. So I would like to ask if anyone else would like to weigh in on this.
I can just add a simple line around this. What Hafiz mentioned, definitely, I echo those sentiments. Also, to add on, right, AI can really become your travel buddy and not really a big brother who dictates things, right? It's just bringing those suggested cool things that everyone would love, right? All while respecting your privacy, avoiding those creepy biases. This is the future of travel, bringing that personalization, trustworthiness, and ready to take you to this adventure or amazing trips with halal trips. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Fateh. And also thank you, Hafiz and Fateh, for the perspective and insights. So that marks our final question for this session. Thank you so much, everyone, for the very insightful discussion on the role of AI in personalized travel experiences. So we've definitely covered a lot of grounds here, and it's been fascinating to hear the diverse perspectives from our esteemed panelists. So to summarize, we've explored how AI is currently being used to personalize travel, the potential for even more immersive experiences, and the importance of data privacy and ethical considerations. We've also learned about the challenges and opportunities for smaller businesses and how AI can make travel more accessible and inclusive for everyone. All right. But before we conclude, I'd like to give each panelist a chance to share any final thoughts that they might have on the exciting future of AI in travel. So I think I'd like to start with Raudha, if you have any concluding remarks.
Thanks, Adila. I think it's been a very insightful session. I think it's we discussed many topics, but I feel like the main takeaway for me is I think we collectively I think understand the potential of AI, and if we are able to harness it, it's able to grow, but also be able to treat it with respect, and also our consumer with respect in terms of the data and treating the data ethically. I think ultimately what it aims to is to we need to try and harmonize as much as possible integration of AI with immersive experiences, as well as responsible practices. And when it comes to the case of Muslim travelers, you need assurance of services.
Thank you so much, Raudha. So next up, I'd like to ask Hafiz if you have any final thoughts or concluding remarks.
Uh, okay, thanks, Adila. I mean, I truly enjoyed the discussion by the panels, by the panelists. I think one thing that I would like to conclude is that AI is here to stay. I think as I engage the industry, quite a number of them are like split between whether this is just a passing fad or whether this would leave a real indelible mark on the industry. My personal opinion is that it is here to stay. It will disintermediate some players, especially those who are slow in embracing it. But the end product is that it is going to make travel much easier, and it is going to benefit businesses in the destinations. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Hafiz. So you mentioned how AI is here to stay. And this also reminds me of the previous remark by Fateh as well about how AI can be a double-edged sword. It can be your travel buddy, but if it's not ethical, like the data is not collected ethically, it can also be a big brother that infringes on your privacy. So lastly, I'd like to ask Fateh if you have any concluding remarks.
Yeah, I think before I conclude, I just want to compliment, Adila. You've been kind of echoing all the panelists' questions and answers in such a quick fashion. I kind of were thinking, am I speaking to a robot or AI? Jokes apart. So, thank you, Adila, very much for having me here on this panel. The role of AI in personalizing this immersive experience is a very interesting topic, very well dealt. So, the future of this travel is more intelligent, more immersive, and really built for good. So, I think we all need to responsibly explore it together, right? I do, kind of work with different corporates and technology companies, to design digital product journeys. Always happy to chat with anyone having more questions after the sessions. Happy to, get on with the call. Thanks.
All right. Thank you so much, Fateh. Just to clarify, I am not an AI, so I just really enjoyed the session. So again, thank you so much to our fantastic panelists. Here we have Raudha, Zaini, Fateh Ali, and Hafez Marican for sharing your expertise and engaging in this thought-provoking discussion. And thank you, the audience, for joining us today at the Halal in Travel Global Summit 2024. I hope you found this session informative and inspiring as we delve into the future of travel personalized by AI. If you'd like to learn more about AI in travel or the work of our panelists, please visit the resources section on our event website or connect with them directly on their platforms. And also do check out the other interesting sessions we have as well at HITGS. See you there.
Thank you, everyone. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.